Hello, welcome to Talking Games match preview of the Euro Championship semi-final. England taking on Denmark. Gonzo, what's your thoughts on the Danish side?
I don't know an awful lot about the Danish side, in all honesty, Geo, but there are some players that we recognise. Before we go on to talk about the players, I think it's quite funny, actually, because I'm not sure how much this story has been regurgitated in the recent days, but I imagine it has. The story goes that, and I remember Denmark once won this European Championships. They weren't expected to win it. They were actually on the beach. They hadn't qualified. They got an unexpected call up. I think it was at the expense of the Dutch, if I remember correctly. And they were so chilled and so unburdened by expectation that they actually went and won the bloody thing, despite not having as good a players as everybody else. Now, I know this is slightly different, but I do think the sad and regrettable incident that happened to Christian Eriksen has almost created a similar sort of unity amongst the team, if you like, albeit for completely different reasons. So they find themselves in an unexpected position, a position of goodwill, which again they had back then. I can't remember, in the 90s, might have been 92. I can't remember exactly. Whenever it was, they had the goodwill of the public then. I think they have the goodwill of the public now because everybody has a lot of sympathy after what's happened with Christian Eriksen. They have a unifying cause in which to propel them forward. And added to that, they have some players with okay ability as well, but it seems to have given those players an extra 10 to 20%. Well, I'll tell you what, you give any player an extra 10 or 20%, you do that collectively, it's going to make a difference to the team. So I think since then, they've played out of their skin. And I can't remember what the first game back was. Actually, they may even have lost it in the end. But I remember them going a goal Belgium. Or two up. It was Belgium. But they were swashbuckling, Geo. I mean, they attacked them with the pride of a nation behind them, you know, and it was quite something to behold because Belgium were clearly more talented. Well, I guess look where everybody is now. Belgium are out and Denmark are in. So riding the crest of a wave would be what I would say Belgium are doing, what Denmark are doing at the moment, mate.
And do you know, just quickly, Gonzo, do you know what Andreas Christensen in Danish centre, do you know what he said England have to not do with Harry Kane?
Play him?
No, if you want to find out, though, you can download the Onefootball app. The article is on Onefootball. Link is in the description, and the pinned comments of this video is completely free. So get it downloaded. Follow your football team, follow your country, but also follow your competition. So you can follow Euro 2020. You click on the news like I did earlier today. Have a little scroll down, see what's happening, see what the Spanish side is looking like, see how the Italian injuries is getting on, and find out just what Andreas Christensen is saying not to do with Harry Kane at Wembley on Wednesday night. But also you can follow the likes of the Premier League, get all your latest transfer rumours combined. It's the perfect app for the football fan, and it is completely free. So get it downloaded today. Links in the description and the pinned comments. Now for Denmark, I feel like I've watched nearly every game they've played this competition actually, and I thought, you know, against Belgium, I thought they were arguably the better team. Like you said, the football was fantastic. It was Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne come on, scored one, set one up, job done. They move on. You think, well, what happened to Denmark there, kind of thing. I thought against Czech Republic, I thought they were good value for their win. You know, I thought they've had a good tournament. They've got some really good players in there. I don't think they've got any world-class players, but I certainly think they've got players that are sort of in the category just below, or the one just below that, elite footballers, like Champions League standard footballers, and there's nothing wrong with that. And like you said, they've got the unity, they've got that togetherness, and what was a tragedy, there is a silver lining in there. It's a togetherness that's inflicted on squad, but it's also one player in particular, if you like, taken, you know, he's been given an opportunity with Christian Eriksen unable to play. He's gone in there, arguably is now their best player of the tournament, and they've, you know, when you watch the Euros go on, you get maybe 5, 6, 7 players you never really heard of, maybe never heard of them. And you think, well, he's a better player. Don't know this guy. There's been 2 Danish players for me that I've watched Denmark play. Thought he's decent. Never knew who they were. You know their back three with Vestergaard, Christensen, and Kjær. You know them. You know the keeper is Schmeichel. There's 1 or 2 others as well. But before we get into the individual players, as an England fan, is this your toughest game? Yeah, I mean, I know it makes sense. It's a semi-final. Naturally, it should be. However, the quarterfinal is your easiest one, so it doesn't always work out like that.
No, look, they beat Wales 4-0. So then Wales are a good team now. This is not the Welsh team of 15, 20 years ago with one good player. Wales are a good team with lots of good players. To beat them 4-0, and a motivated nation as well, Wales. So to beat them 4-0 is quite an accomplishment, actually. So I think this is going to be tough, Geo. I think this is, and I think, as I said, I think there's no expectation on them. I think if they go out and they've had a great tournament, I think all the expectations on England, really. So I think this is going to be really, really tough, and I do expect them to be much tougher than Ukraine, certainly.
The funny thing is with this tournament, I did like the opposition preview for the patrons earlier, and I said in it, when you get your highlights of the tournament, it's usually goals, assists, so on and so forth. But the most interesting, if you want, tactical switch I've seen all competition was by Denmark in that game against Wales. Wales were battling them for 10 minutes. Denmark couldn't get the ball, they couldn't get out of their box. Bale, Ramsey, Dan James, who were just go mental at Denmark. They couldn't cope. Denmark could not cope. And after 10 minutes, they took Christensen out of centre-back, put him in defensive midfield, switched to 4 at the back. And for 80 minutes, Denmark absolutely battered Wales. Wales was just stunned. They were like, hang on a minute, what's happened here? The guy I was marking has disappeared. The guy I was one-on-one with, Christensen's now playing midfield. What's happened? And Denmark just took control of the game, went on, like you said, to win 4-0. I think the Welsh lost their heads at the end of the game. I don't think it was a 4-0 game. I think 2-0 would have been a fair score. But Wales certainly down tools, started kicking players, and Ampadu got sent off. Or I think it was Ampadu. Someone got sent off anyway. No, it was Harry Wilson. Harry Wilson got sent off.
I thought Ampadu did get sent.
He did. He got sent off against Italy in the group stages.
Yeah.
Wilson got sent off. He lost his head. Bale got booked for arguing and stuff. But Denmark's game plan that day started off horrendously bad. But after 10 minutes, just 10 minutes, the manager was like, no, switch up. And I just thought that's brave to some extent, because too often you see the teams, including West Ham, where you just can't get out. You're under pressure. The other team's better than you. The tactics of the other team's working better. But the manager sort of thinks, I'll just wait till half-time then. And Denmark did it 10 minutes in, and every player knew exactly what to do. So I just thought, there's a country that's prepared. They've got plan A, but they've also got plan B, that they know exactly what they're doing with that as well. And that was something that just impressed me quite a lot about them. Anyway, players you admire. At least we're familiar with these players, unlike the Ukrainian ones.
Yeah, well, yeah, yes and no. I don't think there's an awful lot in it. I just look. Braithwaite should be no surprise to anyone. He's been linked to West Ham for donkey's years. He's signed for Barcelona. He is their backup player in case everybody sort of drops down and gets the lurgy. Really, we know you said about the back three. Kaya was. He was meant to be one of the best players. I remember him coming through, looking to be one of the best players. I'd say the same with Dolberg. Actually, I think Dolberg was at Ajax or something. Did he not sign for AC Milan or so? I can't quite remember, but Dolberg was a good player. I remember him having some good games in the Champions League 2 or 3 years ago. It's actually, I think it's Damsgaard. I think that might be the guy, or it's the, I can't even pronounce his name, it begins with M. I cannot pronounce it. A couple of wide players, and they have looked really, really good. I mean, sort of knock the, do you know what Felipe Anderson used to try and do when he joined us? I'm going to knock the ball past you and I'm going to run, but it just never quite happened for him. This is happening from wide areas now, and they're looking just to, do you know what? I'm just going to take you on. I'm just going to have a pop. And it's looked, and I think it's actually had people on the back foot. Well, I'm not expecting this, and it was so prevalent in that Belgium game where the shackles were off. And actually, I'm just going to trust all of my ability. Now, I remember reading years ago, actually, it was a book by Sven-Goran Eriksson, which is probably the only decent thing Sven-Goran Eriksson did. But it was about players on the training ground. And he said, look, everyone on my training ground can do a pirouette, can do a nutmeg, can do a step over, can do all this stuff. Loads of them can do it in training. The special ones who have the confidence are the ones that have enough confidence to try it on the pitch. Not that other people can't do it, but fear takes over, so they play it safe. And we all know it's to one extent or another, but he said that's what really marks people out. And it's almost like these wide attacking players were liberated by the lack of stress or expectation. So I thought of that when I saw it. I thought, actually, he's just someone playing. You know what, I'm going to have a go. I know the skills. I can do a step over. I can do a nutmeg. I can nudge it past him. I'm confident in my crossing, confident in my passing. Actually, I'm going to play to 100% of my ability, and I'm going to have confidence in it. And I've been very, very impressed, actually.
Yeah, those two players are the two that have impressed me that I don't really know before the tournament. Damsgaard's come in with Eriksson being out. 20 years old, playing in Italy, got a hairline of a 35-year-old, but the boy's got some talent, and he plays like an experienced 35-year-old as well. And the guy that you're talking about is the left wing back, Maheli. He's the one he's right-footed, but he's been outstanding going forward as well.
He's a hell of a player.
And his assist against Czech Republic was just unbelievable. I thought Yarmolenko's assist was going to be the best one we see the tournament. Outside of the side of his left foot, but Yarmolenko did it over 10, 15 yards. This guy thought, I'll do the exact same, but over 30 yards. I'll put it on a plate for Dolber just to tap it in kind of thing. They've got lots of talent. Kasper Schmeichel's one of the best goalkeepers at the tournament. You've seen his leadership as well. He doesn't have the captain's arm. He doesn't need it. You've seen that from him. Delaney and Højbjerg in the middle of the pitch as well. So you've got two natural protectors of your back three. They've just got talent all over. I'm surprised you didn't mention your mate, Yusuf Poulsen, as well. They've got Poulsen up front, but if they wanted to, he was on the bench against Czech Republic. So they do have, I would say they've got very talented 14 or 15 players. I think the depth and squad is the difference between Denmark, England, and a lot of other nations, because against England, when you played your last game, Southgate turns around, he's got Liverpool's captain on there. He's got Jack Grealish on there, Phil Foden. And the Denmark coach was bringing on two Brentford players. And that's the big, big difference between these two countries, I think. But anyway, let's get on to your country, England, then. Is this where 9 of the 11 always pick himself, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think, but I mean, I'd make one change. But, I think you have to. For a 4-0 win, it seems to be whatever combination and whatever system he plays, he's keeping it tight at the back anyway. I do expect sterner tests, but can't keep saying that. It gets to a point, well, I guess we can say it all the way up to the final, but if England gets to the final, of course. But at some point you have to say, actually, this is a good defence rather than saying, Scotland didn't really have good forwards, Czechs didn't have good forwards, so on and so forth. You go through it. Germany, it was a poor Germany team, didn't really have a forward. Ukraine's didn't. You can't keep saying that. At some point, you have to say, actually, maybe the defence is okay. And it does seem to be that whatever, he's tried to do two different, the back three or the back four, whatever you want to call it. And different players in there, different fullbacks, different centre halves. Mings played well when he played. Maguire's come in; he's played well. So, I think in the main, I think the team would stay the same.
Yeah, first country to ever go the first 5 games of the tournament without conceding the goal. So you've made history already. This defensively, anyway. So would you keep it the same as well? Your back four: Walker, Stones, Maguire, Shaw with Pickford. What, you'd make a change?
Yeah, I would. I'd get Walker out of there. Yeah, I would. I think he's a weak link. And I'd get James. I would get James in there. I really would, particularly in light of what we've just discussed as well. I think James is the better all-round player. I think Walker has, don't get me wrong, there's been some really good interceptions from Walker. I think some good blocks. And I think sometimes he's been calm when the ball's come over to the back post, sort of cross from the right, and the ball's, he's chested it quite nicely to the keeper and been quite calm. That's fine. But I think Reece James can do all of that. What I also think Reece James won't do is give the ball to the opposition, which Walker worries the hell out of me. He seems to do it every game. And the longer you go into the tournament, the more dangerous that's obviously going to become, because you would anticipate with each round you go through, the opposition are going to be more clinical. We can't keep kicking the ball to the opposition, and he does have a tendency to do it. In fact, I think in the first game, did I not say in the review he'd done it 3 or 4 times in the first half or something like that? It's their best chance, by the way. Ukraine's best chance was created by Kyle Walker. And you know me and me right backs anyway. I've got a bit of a funny thing. I just like Reece James. I just think he's the better option there. I think he's got a better all-round game, basically.
Yeah, I get that. I think I get why you changed the right back. I think the other 3, the keeper pick himself. I think I'd probably lean towards Kieran Trippier, to be honest with you, for 2 reasons. First of all, Any sort of sniff of a chance Ukraine had, and they never had much, it came through Kyle Walker's position on the pitch, whether Walker was contributing to it or they were doing 1-2s around him. It was coming from that. Whenever they tried to go down the other side with Luke Shaw, they didn't get anywhere. Luke Shaw had that side wrapped up, locked down, sorted. Any success come down there. And when I watched Denmark play Czech Republic, one thing that intrigued me more was Mihaly didn't really get forward that much. They were really attacking the left side of Czech Republic. It was Larson that was getting forward. Mihaly was quite restricted on the left side. And at the start, I was a bit almost disappointed because I was looking forward to seeing Mihaly get forward. I thought, why is he doing that? But I thought, well, it makes sense. Why would you put your left wing back up against Soufal? And this isn't just being biased West Ham. Soufal is one of the best right backs in the competition. He was arguably the best right back in the tournament. It's the stats speak for themselves. So why would you go up against him when actually you can go down the other side and go up against a weaker fullback constantly? Now, if that was a game plan, then surely the Denmark coach is going to be saying, let's get a Kyle Walker. Let's get everything. Now we're going to switch to the left. Southgate's watching our last game. He's going to see us coming down the right. Now we're going to switch to the left and go after their weak right back. So if that is a thing, I think I agree with you. Your weak spot probably is defensively Kyle Walker. So I put Trippier in there for that. But also, the reason I'm going for Trippier over Reece James, I think Denmark look very ropey on set pieces. Every Czech Republic corner or free kick that come in that box, it was Czech Republic were winning everything. You know, they got the goal from across as well. And it just seemed that, when I watched it, I thought England are going to love this. They're strong at set pieces anyway. But I think Kieran Trippier is your better set piece delivery taker. Him and Luke Shaw, there's not much between them. But if you can have them both on the pitch, every set piece you get in their half will be a chance, if you like. And it shouldn't be that way. When you look at the Danish defence, it shouldn't be like that. But I just felt that it was. I felt that Czech Republic were getting loads of opportunities in the box from corners and set pieces. So that one. So Rice, Phillips pick themselves.
Yeah. All the rest of the team would remain the same for me, Geo, I've got to say. I think there was maybe a slight temptation for Saka and Sancho, but I think Sancho did enough during that game to suggest maybe, he should keep it. And it would be a decision down that side of a combination. I still don't think we've cracked a combination down that right side, England. I think the left is good, and Harry Kane certainly benefiting from service coming from that left-hand side, be it Grealish, be it Shaw, but whatever, Sterling. There's stuff coming from down there. I don't feel the same coming from the right. Having said that, I saw enough glimpses in the Ukraine game with Mason Mount being back that actually he's quite happy to drift over there on occasion during the game, and he's not afraid to put a cross in. So, but I think that would be the final piece of the jigsaw to really make England tick. So I'd be willing to give Sancho another go there. I do like the pace and the trickery of him and Saka. But yeah, Sancho, I'll stick with him for this one.
I think I'd stick with Sancho as well. I'd still go with Grealish over Mount, though. I thought Mount was quite quiet, actually. I didn't think he was that impressive against Ukraine. He didn't play badly, and it's quite hard sometimes to play well when it's quite a straightforward victory, unless you've scored he did get an assist, but unless you've scored a goal, it's quite hard to look good to some extent. But I thought Sancho did look good, where Mason Mount, I don't think he was that great. But with Grealish, we know what he can bring. He's fresh. That's the one difference with Jack Grealish compared to the likes of, say, Raheem Sterling, who's played every minute for England. Grealish hasn't played that much. He'd be fit as a fiddle, ready to go, loads of energy. But I do think Denmark are a bit sparse in the middle of the park in numbers, because while they do have 3 centre-backs and they've got their wing-backs going on there, they've only got 2 centre midfielders. And you can get Phillips and Rice pushing up a little bit. It might just give a lot of room to whoever's playing that number 10 role for England. So I think I'd still bring in Jack Grealish for Mason Mount, but I agree with you. Sancho, I thought, looked good. He stretched for defence. He widened the pitch, if you like, and I thought he looked good for that. You feeling confident for this one?
Yeah, I do. I do, actually. It's hard not to, actually, when you look how good our defence is and you look at the options that we've got. And he seems to be doing a good job of keeping everybody happy. Gave Grealish a big cuddle after the end of the game, had a real big word. It was grabbing him and pulling him in and really sort of telling him, and you could tell he was saying something motivational and nice. He wasn't telling him that the British Bake Off was on at 8:00 that evening. He was telling him something. It's good, of course. But so I think he's keeping a happy ship. I think I think it's hard not to be confident, Gio, really.
Are you believing yet that you're going to go on and win it?
Yeah.
You've always been reluctant, but like, surely you've got.
I do. I've become all mystical. I think it's our time, and I think all that at the moment because I don't know. It's just got it's in at Wembley and the depth and the country. It just feels the right time. And I've said it in a couple of videos now, but the lockdown and sort of being allowed to go. Look, when England are in tournaments, I'd say England, whatever country you live in, you go down a pub, you don't matter whether it's the Cross of St. George or the Saltire or whatever it might be, right? You get your face painted, you put your T-shirt on, you go down a pub and you support your team, you support your country. And there's special times in major tournaments. If you're lucky, you get to go. You get a ticket for the game, but they'll be like gold dust now. If you don't, you go to the pub or you do something. And there's a good feeling around that anyway. Put into the equation that you ain't been allowed out for nearly 2 years. Wow, I mean, you're really pleased to be out. You're really pleased to be with other people, dancing and jumping around with a beer in your hand or whatever the case may be, or probably a beer being thrown over somebody else. But I just think the timing of it feels right. And I know you can say that for every country. I know you can say that for every country's been locked down, but this is my country, and it's in England, the finals at Wembley, and I don't know. There's just something. I feel like there's something going on. So I've got a little feeling in the bottom of my stomach, a little tingle in my dinkle, if you know what I mean.
It's taking a while to get that little tinkle in your dinkle, though.
Yeah, it has.
But I think this will definitely be your toughest game. Yeah, I think it helps massively. It's at Wembley and with a crowd behind you. I think there's only 2,000 Denmark fans going. I say only, they'll try and make a noise, but they'll be drowned out by the 40,000 England fans that's there. So that will be huge for the team, having the crowd there. I think even if you go a goal down, I still think the feel-good factor, I don't think it would turn. I think if this was match day 2 or 3 of the Euros and you went to go down, I think it would become a bit of a hard place for Southgate and his team. I think there'd be a few moans and groans, possibly a bit of booing and stuff. Because at the start of the tournament, people were a little bit suspicious of Southgate, a little bit, this ain't great, Gareth, I'm not sure. But now I think people have bought into Southgate. Even if you're not Southgate's biggest fan, I think you can say, fair enough, it's working. I don't like it. I find the football a bit boring sometimes. However, you're getting the results. It's working. Yeah. I'm buying into this philosophy you might have, this grind out thing, because if it gets us there, it gets us there, and you become Sir Gareth, and I will kiss your shoes myself. So I think if you got to go down now on Wednesday, I don't think Wembley will turn like it would have done at the start of the tournament. I think the fans would probably get louder if anything, saying, no, we're a bit like when West Ham played Man U at the last game of Upton Park. We went 2-1 down. You couldn't tell we went 2-1 down. The crowd almost sucked the ball into the net for the third goal kind of thing. And I think there'd be a bit of an element of that. So while, like I said, though Denmark will be difficult, but every game I've watched Denmark, while they look good going forward, I do think they look a little bit ropey at the back in quite a few occasions and stuff. And, I think they'll score, though. I do think you'll concede your first goal of the tournament. Before you kick off on Wednesday, of course, Italy take on Spain tomorrow night in the other semi-finals. Or a particular opponent you're hoping to wins that one?
Yeah, I would hope Spain would win that one.
You've got to, haven't you? I think Italy... Yeah. I think the winners of your tie would beat Spain, whether it's yourselves or Denmark. I'd fancy them to beat Spain. Yeah. However, Italy, I'd fancy Italy regardless of who wins your tie, if you like. I think Italy look the best.
They do look sensational, and I've got to say, big myself up. They were my tip for the tournament before a ball had been kicked, but even I didn't think they were as good as they are. They are better than I thought. And Barella and Insigne or whatever his name is, really good player. Spinazzola, I've discussed, is obviously out now. But they are a very good team and such a wily old defence there, these guys know how to defend, but they always have done it. So you always have known how to defend. Yeah, Spain seem a bit plain. If they lack in the sparkle and the stars of yesteryear. Now, obviously, so are Denmark. There's no Michael Laudrup in Denmark's team, but there's a different set of circumstance going on, and the difference is expectation and size of country. Spain's a massive country with massive expectation, and two of the biggest clubs in the world reside in Spain. So you can't really compare the two. Mate, football, anything can happen, but I would expect Italy to go through.
And can I get your score prediction for your game? Actually, let's do one. Italy-Spain. Give us your score prediction. I think I'll go 2-0 Italy.
I'll do that one as well. I just want to say with England before I do that, another thing that I think has fallen in our favour and seen the planets align is this whole substitutions thing. This has come at a time when it's really suited England. England can look at that bench. You alluded to it earlier. Okay, so he picks Sancho over Saka. Whoopie-doo. Don't worry about it. He can make that substitution. So he picks Mount over Grealish. No problem. He can make that substitution. And he can make loads more as well. Things aren't going well with a set plays where you can bring Trippier on. Because he can make 6 of the things, or whatever, 5 or 6. I've lost count. I can't even. There you go, 5.
You get 5, but if it goes into extra time, you get an additional one.
You get 6. You get 6. It's ridiculous. I can barely count to 6. It's so many, and this really benefits England. So there's never been a worse time to play for penalties in major tournament history than now. Now is the worst time because actually you've got 120 minutes to impact. It's very unlikely to get to penalties when you're facing a team that has players on the bench who are comparable to those who are on the pitch. And England really do have that, with the exception of Harry Kane. England absolutely have players on the bench who are as good as those that are on the pitch. And that's so that does make me more confident for that reason. I think England are going to win 3-1.
I'll say you win it 2-1. I think you'll win it 2-1. I think it might go to extra time. The extra time thing is the only thing that might trip you up, actually, because Denmark have played extra time earlier in the tournament. They've had that experience. And the reason I thought of this is because I've seen Spain have gone through an extra time twice now. They won on pens the game before. They went to extra time against Croatia. And I've seen a thing that 6 countries have gone to extra time twice in a Euro Championships. 5 of those 6 teams have gone on to win the whole thing. And I thought that must just be a coincidence. I thought, well, is it really? Because then maybe when it comes to final or something like, you've almost had the extra time experience. We know how to last 120 minutes. The manager knows what subs to make in extra time. We know how to get our penalties in something. You've not had to experience extra time yet, whereas Denmark have. Should it make a difference? It shouldn't really, but you just never know. It'll be interesting to see if Gareth Southgate.
I like them both. It's good of him to bring his brother in.
You can pick his own name as you win the Euros.
It's his son Jose being the head scout that worries me.
Yeah. anyway, right. So Gonzo says 3-1 England. I'll say 2-1 England. If you enjoyed this preview, drop a like on it. Make sure you download the Onefootball app. Link in the description and the pinned comment. Subscribe if you're around here. And Gonzo, will you be doing a watch along on Wednesday?
I won't. I can't.
Gonzo's on the bevies. He's not doing one on Wednesday. But we'll do a review of some form because I'll be watching the game. So
I'll be there for the review. I'll be there for the review.
Good man. Right, drop a like on it, subscribe, all that good stuff. And catch you on Wednesday.